Everybody, in this video in the fundamentals of mathematics, we're going to talk about similar and dissimilar fractions. This is the continuation video about our topics in fractions, and this is very important before we can even go or touch the operations of fractions. Wherein in the addition of fractions, we shall need that the fractions be similar before we can even add them. So what do we mean by similar fractions? So similar fractions, if you know this already, this is going to be a review to all of you. Similar fractions, they are fractions that have the same denominator. So shall we say fractions that have the same, oops, let me fix this, denominators. Okay, so we have the same similar fractions are fractions with the same denominator. So we have the same denominators. For example, we have 5 on 6, 5 over 6. What else? Say 1 over 6. What else? Say we have 7 over 6. So though this is an improper fraction, but it doesn't go away from our definition that they have the same denominator. So they're still similar fractions. And we have 3 over 6. Okay, so that's pretty much similar fractions. Just take note they have the same denominators. Okay, now how about the similar fractions? So the opposite, obviously. So we're the similar fractions. Okay, so these are the fractions with, okay, different denominators. Denominators. Okay, different denominators. So by the word different, I think you know that already when you say different denominators. So for example, let's have 1/3, 2/5, 10 over 12, and 5 over 6. So as you can see, they have different denominators over here, telling us that these are dissimilar fractions. Okay, since they don't have the same denominators. Okay, so those are dissimilar fractions. Now, I want to emphasize that transferring, or shall we say translating, dissimilar fractions into similar fractions are very important because we will be needing that in our addition and subtraction of integers, that all fractions must be similar. So we must devise a way to change this dissimilar fractions and convert them into similar fractions. Because again, for the operation, that's for the operation. So how do we change that? How do we do that? So we change dissimilar fractions, shall we say dissimilar fractions can be changed to similar fractions by finding the LCD. Okay, so when you say the LCD, this means that it is the least common denominator. Okay, so the principle is pretty much the same with LCM, only that in the LCM, that's the general way, the broad way, least common multiple. So when we want to find the least common multiple of the denominators, so therefore we call that LCD, or least common denominator. Okay, so to give you one example for this, say we want to have 1/2, 3/4, and 5/3. These are obviously dissimilar fractions by the way of the numbers in the denominator, but we want to make them similar because, say, for example, we want to add them all. We want to add them all. So we need to find first the LCM of the denominators, or that's what we call the LCD. So what is the LCD of 2, 4, and 3? So what is the LCD of these fractions? Okay, so the LCD is, um, again, if you want recalling our LCD lesson, so 2 is equal to 2, 4 is equal to 2 times 2, and 3 is equal to just 3. Okay, now how do we find the LCD? So we're going to encircle the common ones here and here. So what we have is 2 times 2 times 2, that's rather 2 times 2 only, that's 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So therefore, our LCD is 12. So that's our LCD. Now what we're going to do is to transform all these numbers. Okay, we're going to transform this 1/2 into something with a denominator of 12, 3/4 to be something with a denominator of 12, 5/3 with something um, with a diameter of 12. So let's do that, shall we? Now, for 1/2 first, let's put 1/2. Oops, 1/2. So what we're going to do is divide the LCD by the denominator, 2, and then multiply the quotient to the numerator. So again, our LCD is 12. So what is our process? Kindly see it here closely. LCD divided by divisor, the answer is 6. 6 multiplied to the numerator, okay, is equal to still 6. But then here, this will become 12. So therefore, this is our first term before we can even add. Okay, so then we we continue this with the other numbers. So say, so we're done here with 1/2. We're done here with 1/2. So what we're going to do next is for the 3/4. So for 3/4, again, we want to make it with a denominator of 12. So if we do that, 12 divided by 4 is going to give us 3. 3 times 3 is going to give us 9. 9/12. And lastly, we'll have here the 5/3. So 5/3, let's convert that into something with the else with the denominator of 4. What will it be? So we have here, or rather 12. 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 times the numerator 5 is going to give us what? 20. And these are our LCDs, okay, our least common denominators, or rather that the terms, okay, to make them all similar. Again, LCD divided by the denominator times the numerator. So if we're going to add them, say for example, so we have 6 plus 9 is 15, plus 20 is 35. So if we are going to add it, so it's going to be 35/12. Okay, now we will have one more example after this. Okay, one more example. Okay, so as another example, let's find or let's change these numbers to the similar form. So say we have 3 over 8, 1 over 2, and 5 over 16. So let's find their LCD, shall we? So let's have 8 is equal to the prime factorization of 8 is, it's 2 cubed, or say 2 times 2 times 2. 2 is a prime number, so that's only going to be 2. And 16 has the prime decomposition or factorization of 2 to the fourth. So that's simply 2 4 twos, 2 4 twos. So what's the LCD? So we can see that these are common to these terms. These are common to these terms. These are common to this term, and we have an excess of 1, 2. So what we're going to do is just to have actually 4 twos to multiply. So that's simply going to give us 16 again. Okay, so that is the LCD is 16. The least common denominator is 16. Okay, now we're going to convert all of these fractions over here to, or with the denominator of 16. That is for 3 eighths. Okay, so 3 eighths, or rather 16 divided by 8 is 2. 2 times 3 is going to give us 6 over 16. Okay, that's for the first term. For the second term, we have 1 over 2. So say we have 1 over 2. 16 divided by this 2 is 8. 8 times 1 is going to give us 8 over 16. Okay? And then lastly, we have 5 over 16 itself. So we know that 5 over 16 is already with the denominator of 16. So we don't need to change that. We just need to copy edit. So 5 over 16. Okay, that's it. They're now similar fractions. And say, for example, we will add them. Okay, how do we add them? Add the numerator, 6 plus 8. That's going to be 14. 14 plus 5 is going to give us 19 over 16. Okay, if we are going to add them. Okay, there you go. Okay, so that's it for this video for changing similar fractions or dissimilar fractions to similar fractions, and then generally this topic is all about similar and dissimilar fractions. So hope you learned something from this. If there's some confusion, you can again rewatch this video and replay, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, thank you very much.